Hi everybody, welcome to Be in the Glow, and today's video I wanted to do is really more for the dancers and specifically the ballerinas out there. So I have always struggled dancing on pointe shoes using these traditional toe pads. These are the ouch pouches pad that slip over the top of your toes. Or the gels, the lambs wool, whatever the case. I've always had a hard time no matter what because I have what you call Grecian feet, or in other words, my second toe is far longer than my big toe. And really from the second toe is when it becomes tapered, not at the big toe. But my problem is still the same. I go up on pointe. I feel like I can't go fully over on my box because my second toe really hurts and it's harder, and my second toe on the left foot gets bruised more because my second toe is bigger, first of all, and then it's the toe that takes the most impact, that tiny little toe and all the little bones that are in there all the way up. So I came across in my research trying to find a good toe pad a company called PerfectFit Pointe Shoe Insert. So I ordered from this company because it's a kit, in other words. It honestly reminds me of the process that it takes to make slime with my kids. So straight away, let me just get right into it. So you open up your box and you have packaged in there this bag and the pamphlet, which explains the product and of course the steps in the process. Tri-fold, but in the middle it will go over all of the items that you should receive in this product, in this kit, and then it gives you information about before you begin, and then it's a lot. This makes me nervous, I'm not gonna lie, because it wasn't super expensive. It was a little over $50, but that's definitely more expensive than you pay for your typical toe pad. So that cost on top of the price of pointe shoes, you're not a professional dancer, you don't get new ones handed to you every week. That can kind of get pricey. However, just like the traditional toe pads, these are reusable every time with use. You make them and they stay. So this is what it looks like in order to create the mold around your foot. And so what I'm first going to do is I'm going to abide by the suggestion and go to the molding process video and watch that and see if we can get some tips and best practices on how to make this work. So let's do that now. Oops, PerfectFit Pointe. Here we go. All right, meet the PerfectFit Pointe shoe insert. Yes, dancers' feet are as different as their faces. True that. Where's your video, Perfect Pointe? PerfectFit Pointe. I mean, you're explaining why they're turquoise, but we don't have the video that obvious to us. Okay, I'm back. I did not think you needed to sit there while I watched the whole thing. So the video seems pretty self-explanatory and step-by-step process. And let me just quickly share with you what came in the making kit. As I said earlier, you get the Perfect Fit Pointe shoe insert where all of the materials that are needed to create the pad is inside, and I assume you can also just put, because they're going to be filled out, they're not going to be flat like your traditional toe pad, so it's probably good that you keep this bag so you can actually put your pad, your molds back in. So inside, again, you have the instructions. You receive two for a right and a left foot. What do they call this? But it's the insert, so it's what you place over the top of the molding. You also get two different materials in a white and a teal color that you will actually blend and mix together. Again, it's like my daughter's slime lab that she makes. Once you mix together, place the mold over the top of your feet, then you will place the lavender material over the top. You then place the whole foot or the ball of the foot into the plastic bag, where then you will go and place the foot and insert it into your Pointe shoe. Then it suggested a series of exercises, and it did say on their website for under their F&Q for Grecian feet, meaning the second toe is longer than the first toe. Some tips are a little bit different and recommendations. So what I'm gonna do now is exactly what they suggest after watching the video. I did. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna start with my right foot. So I'm gonna go ahead and put my traditional toe pad on and put my left foot in my Pointe shoe. So that way, even though we're gonna do one foot at a time, we are gonna work with both shoes on. And again, because I have a different situation with my shoe, I need to make sure with my feet that both shoes are on, so I'm actively pressing evenly through both sides. So let me go ahead and do that quickly now. Oh, another thing I forgot to mention that comes in here, it has material to cover your toe spacer. I personally don't use and never have toe spacers. Again, the layout of my toes never required it, but it does give you an option for many. I feel like more people use toe spacers than don't, but it does give you the option to cover that, and it also discusses in the instructions how to work around the toe space. The whole process, I see, 10 minutes a foot. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that now. 10 minutes, and so I have my 10 minutes on there, and I'm gonna press start. So the first thing it says to do is to open up both containers. And if you are more of a professional dancer, it said you may use only half of the materials provided. I am not, so I will use the full amount. Whoops. It also said a little bit of some shiny residue will be left on your fingertips. Don't be alarmed. This exactly feels like my kid's slime. Man, too bad I didn't come up with this, because I sure am around this mess enough. So it just said to knead them together using your fingertips. Try not to use more into the palm, because the heat of that will make the setting start a little bit quicker. And this should take about 2 to 2.5 minutes, it said. So let's do that now. So it's kind of getting mixed together, kneading it together to where it no longer looks like a marble coloring. 2.5 minutes again, and it's definitely there. See, there's no white coming through like it did before, and the teal is definitely a little bit lighter. So now let's go ahead and start the molding process. So this is where you would use the spacer, okay, and go ahead and place the silicone spacer, wrap this around, and then place that in between your toe. Again, I don't use that nor need it. So you shouldn't have too much excess on the backside, because that's not where you need it. The only place you need to have some of it on the back is if you have the spacer. Pinch off a piece of the material. And let me just double check here. Apply the material generally all over the tips and the tops of the toes, being sure to cover any known pressure areas. Remember, the material will flow away from these spots, but will fill the space around them and reduce pressure. Don't worry about being too specific about the placement of the material, as it will naturally flow to where it needs to go once inside the shoe. Also remember that if you wrap the material over the tips of your toes, it will naturally flow upwards. So any place that's more pressure, for me, that will be my second toe. All right, I think that's good for now. And like it said, this is the lavender pad you place over the top, the fabric cover. So I'm gonna do that now. Okay, so we've done that. And now put the plastic covering. Now in the plastic covering and insert looks a little bit different than what I have. So now I'm gonna take my Pointe shoe, insert my foot. Ugh. Okay. All right, go ahead and do it as I would normally. Now, what was not in the video but was on the tips for the FAQs were how to manage your foot if you do have your Grecian toes. So I'm gonna do that now. What it said to do was just to kind of work the foot a little bit. I'm gonna back up to the bar. Versus both feet rising up to a releve and a demi. You wanna just do one foot at a time. That's where I'm a little different. Now, I'm gonna keep this on, and it actually says the protruding amount that's coming out, you can use that, it's normal for it to do that. You can use that to test if it's done or not. So now I'm gonna take the left shoe off, okay? And we're gonna go through the same process again. If this is made with just some Elmer's glue and borax or some contact solution, I'm gonna be pissed. I got that down in my kids' art room, playroom right now. I can make that. Oh my God, that's already so much better. I mean, guys, right, Pointe hurts. It doesn't really matter. It's not the most comfortable form of movement. Like, she's tough. I think I'm gonna like it. It's gotta be an improvement from what I've felt. And two, I'm not as technically trained as I used to be. I'm definitely very cognizant of my body and what I'm gonna be doing, and you know, I'm not performing or anything like that. I do it just because as a dancer, you're always a dancer, right? Okay, so the timer went off. I'm gonna now take them off. Ow, jeez. I'm nervous, I don't know. And that's what it looks like. I have quite a bit protruding out here. Because again, nothing touches over here. Okay. All right, so that is what it looks like on the inside. Now it does say to trim this off, and I will. So I'll do that here in a second. It did say you're gonna have a little grimy, greasy, and I do. And I have a little residue left over. We'll just use that for cuticle cream. I'm not gonna hate on it. Cuts pretty easy. I'm gonna be careful I'm not cutting into. Okay, yeah, so I actually don't have a lot of material on the inside towards the big toe. It's heavily on the pressure point toe, which is good. That's what I'm looking for. So this is good. I'm pumped about it. All right, let's go ahead with the left. Okay, so here you have it, guys. These are the Perfect Pointe shoe inserts for Pointe shoes. Again, it says to let it sit for 24 hours, so I will do that. I'll just let them stay out. I won't put them in the bag, but again, you have the PerfectFit mesh bag drawstring that you can put them in after use, because they may or may not come and stay in your Pointe shoes, who knows. And we'll see how I get on with them, hopefully better than how I felt. I definitely will be upset, I'm sure. I'm hoping that they're gonna work the way that I want them to, and it'll definitely be like, man, that's why I'm not a professional. I didn't have the Perfect Pointe shoe inserts made and customized for me. All right, so anyway, thank you so much for visiting Be in the Glow. Bye guys.